Hello. I receive a lot of messages asking, people ask me, can I explain in detail the creation process and how I think it all works? And, you know, these sorts of things take a little while for me to be able to figure out how to explain what I've personally experienced in my life. But they come from a place of complete confidence, you know, once I figured out how I can put that across. And probably the easiest way that I can think of putting the creation process and how we do it, how we take control of that in to some degree and actually manipulate things around us, is by explaining, if I explain the world is energy, so everything's energy, we are electric beings. Everything is held together by energy. Everything is energy pathways where energy gets given off from one thing and transferred to another in one way or another. And that's how things are fed. And there's positive and negative energy, and you know, I don't want to go into too much into that in this video. I more want to stick along the lines of the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, and how you do that. So in order for you to start to understand the way to create and attract things like the law of attraction and how to create things in your own life, you need to start looking into how to penetrate your subconscious mind. I mean, your conscious mind is a very, very small amount. Your subconscious mind is huge. Knowing that, knowing how much power you have with your conscious mind to create things in this world when we're walking around, can you imagine? You can only imagine what power your subconscious mind has. Now, in order to start to go into that and actually, how can I say it, consciously manipulate the subconscious mind, then you need to look at it as something that's only achieved without distraction. So your subconscious mind is most vulnerable and easily swayed when you are in a state of sleepy, drowsy feeling. So it's that moment just before you go to sleep at night. That is when your subconscious is most vulnerable. And when you actually go into the sleeping process, that is your subconscious. So you're just acting in your subconscious. You're creating, and that's why your dreams can be changed. You can see figures and they can completely change in a split second to another figure and doing something else. It's all creation. You walk around and you can do whatever you like with your eyes. And that's the best way I can explain what the subconscious mind is. It's your dream state. And when you learn how to manipulate that dream state from being awake and be able to go into that dream state whilst you're awake, you can alter your subconscious mind to create the things that you want in your life above and beyond what you'd even understand. You don't understand how it happens, because in order to understand how your subconscious actually manipulates the world around you, you need to know that your body does not end at your skin, that you are electric beings. Everything's electric. You need to push your body into an alkaline state, because when it's in its alkaline state, it's more powerful. The cells are all regenerated. You have more power to put out there to alter your reality and change it about. So once you know that you have to get your body into an alkaline state, you realize that when it's in that alkaline state, diseases don't exist. Cancer, for instance, can't exist in an alkaline state. So you're taking back control of your life. Now you're pushing out, when you reach that point, you're pushing out, you're receiving electromagnetic signals from the world around you, from nature, from everything, from rocks, from the air. It's all 99.9% empty space. It's just an energy. It's floating about, and you do with it what you will, as long as you understand how to manipulate those energies. And as well as your heart being a receiver for that electromagnetic field, it can also give out into that electromagnetic field. It can change things around you. Now, in order to understand how that works, the best way I can say it is, you know, I could stand here all day long and tell you about how you do this and you do that and this is what happens. The best way to do it is to just do it yourself, and see what success you have. And remember that when the subconscious mind is all creation, why do you think that people meditate? They meditate because they go into that point where they're very drowsy. They're not asleep, but they're very sort of, they clear their mind of all the conscious rubbish that gets built up in there, and they go straight into the subconscious, and then they play about with that subconscious. It takes them places, and they manage to manipulate everything around them. When you do this, you give out pulses, and these pulses go out as an energy that travels endless. So these pulses travel faster than the speed of light. They go everywhere. They go all across the universe. It's information, just the same. How I describe it is very similar to how a brain works. So it creates live connections and chucks signals that don't necessarily need. They're just pathways. They're just an end of an electrode meets another one and somewhere else, and that's how you pass these things around. Now, when you realize that if you start being able to go into the subconscious and manipulate that in that way, once you realize that you can do that, and it's probably at its most open when you go into sleep at night, if you can think of something that you want most to happen, or something that you want. I mean, remember, this can only be love-based, because love-based is alkaline. It's creation. Anything else is destruction, is destroying. So what you actually create in your life, before you go to sleep at night, that becomes what's planted into your subconscious mind before you start dreaming and going through all that process. And whilst your dream state is that part of that creation process, which you remember in this mindset, there's something very, very deep, and there's like an unconscious mind that's actually plays out what we see today. And sometimes that unconscious mind can just burst through a little bit, and this becomes your deja vu. So you actually feel like you've done something you probably did about 5 minutes ago in your unconscious mind, and it's just breaking through. And then some people get that in the dream process. They get things that happen in their dream process that actually play out in real life. That shows you your power. That shows you how good your power is, and how well you've mastered that process. The thing is, we need to start actually doing this and consciously doing it ourselves, rather than just letting it be at the whim of other people, because other people actually manipulate our subconscious, and they know how it works. You know, advertisers, they know how it works. The mainstream media, newspaper outlets, radio, all these things, they all know how it works. They all use symbolism, and you know, they understand the process. And this isn't necessarily the people who are giving it out, like the newsreaders and people like, I'm talking about people further up the tree. They understand exactly how it all works, and they do it, and they create everything through you. They use your creation process, because linked together we are all one. So the more people that concentrate on one thing, you know, the easier it is for those people in that position of control to manipulate your mind and use you as a tool to be able to create what they want. When you start thinking like this, you start answering a lot of questions, a real big load of questions. You can go into any field you want, and you will see this energy process and the subconscious mind and how people take control of that. You will see it play out all around you all the time. Everybody's after some of your energy. You want somebody else's energy, and you all pass it about and manipulate and change it all the time to suit yourself, to be able to, you know, carry on doing what you want to do. And, you know, what I would say to, if I had to give a set of instructions as to how to actually do this and how to start trying things out for yourself, I would say, because once you actually get used to this, you can do it. I can do it like now. Whilst I'm talking to you, here it comes. The feeling comes on, which I've got. Feel electrified head to foot. Every cell in my body feels alive at this moment now. And this tells you, through goosebumps down the arms, down the back of the neck, or particularly on this side of the head for me at the moment, all around my ears and all up over my scalp, down to here, getting worse or better, whichever way you want to look at it. Down the fronts of your legs, everywhere. So you get this energy come over you, and you're passing out that pulse. That is your creation process at its strongest. If you can get to that state that I'm at right at this moment, and you can pass out that pulse, that just travels, that travels infinitely, and that manipulates and changes everything around you. It gives people and things signals around you to tell. It's sort of an unconscious knowing that they suddenly feel attracted, and you'll find people coming into your life and they don't know how they got there. They don't know why am I here? You know, they don't understand why they bumped into you, and you get the same. You bump into people and you think, oh, fancy that. When you're getting this, fancy that. All the synchronicity. Everybody talks about synchronicities. You know, when the synchronicities start happening, that's you. That's you becoming an electrified being to your full potential, and you're passing out intention, and these people are crossing your path. They are attracted, they're put there, and this is where you need to take up that bait. And when you bump in, you might be studying something, or you might be doing something, all of a sudden you'll bump into somebody who's a specialist in that field, and you think, fancy that. Of all the places, of all the things, I happen to be still in a queue with this guy or that woman, or you know, whatever. And the same thing goes for the for when you get the manipulation of time. So time is time on a digital clock. There's a different type of time, which is basically the time we feel. So when time feels, a day feels like 2 hours, or you know, an hour can feel like a day. It all depends on which mindset you're in, and that's your true time inside, which is basically your brain speeding up and slowing down, according to whether or not you're serving your creation process and what you want to do and what you're here to do. So the more that you follow what you're here to do, the faster the time travels, the faster time goes. You know, you'll get to it and you think, oh my God, is that the day over already? It's already, you know, 10 o'clock at night, and I thought it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All these things get explained to you when you start understanding this process, and everything suddenly becomes very, very clear. And the more you go into it, the more that you understand your creation process, and the more that you can manipulate it. And when you start to get these synchronicities, and going back to the time, you know, a lot of people see these times 11:11, and you know, on a personal level, I see 11:33 all the time, 4:44, 22:22. This is not necessarily me changing the time on a clock. A digital clock's a digital clock. It's me in this reality, knowing with my subconscious mind and expecting to see that number. So my expectations, my knowing deep within, in my subconscious and my unconscious mind, has told me, without me realizing it, that the time now is 11:11. Look at your phone, or look at, you know, a clock somewhere, and you look and it's 11:11. You go, oh my God, I'm seeing that number all the time. Well, yeah, because you're powerful. Because you're powerful, and that's why you get that. Once people start to understand that when they get the synchronicities and they get the times and they see it around them all the time, it's a total shock at first. But the more you see it, the more you know you're going to see it. The more it plants itself into your mind, the more it happens. So it's one of those self-feeding things. And that's probably the easiest way to show that you're already doing something that you don't understand how it works. You just know that it's beyond total coincidence. It's millions to one that you would just do that all the time. Just looked at the time on there, 15:15. You know, it's things I expect to see, and you know, it's very exciting. It can be very overwhelming. It can make you tearful, not in a bad way. But when things happen in your life that you've created, because it's such a shock, because you're not taught these things anymore, these things have been taken away over the years, and we've had distractions put in front of us. Deforestation is, and you know, putting things in the water, GMO crops, the news channels and all that sort of stuff, and making you feel like you're an individual, divide and conquer. These are all ways that the people who want to control this process keep you divided and keep you from your power. But videos like this, this will show you your power, and you can try it for yourself. Do it. When you go to sleep at night, this is the best way I can explain it for beginners. When you go to sleep at night, you get into your bed, you pretty much clear your head of everything, and you're on the borderline of falling asleep. Now, when you're at that borderline of falling asleep, what you need to do is plant into your subconscious, when it's very vulnerable, that what you would most like to happen. It could be to do with somebody's health. It could be to do with something you'd like to have, or something you'd like to happen. The smaller it is, some things can be created like instantaneous in the same day or the next day. Some things take a lot longer. You can't put a time limit on it. It will just happen. You have to trust the process and put it out there. The more people that do this process together with you, so they need to feel it inside, the quicker it will happen, and the easier it becomes. The more success you get with the process, the more you know it works, the more you will become a stronger person. So if you look at falling asleep, and now you're thinking about something that you'd like to happen. Now you don't think up here. You feel it here, in this electromagnetic pulse that comes from your heart, the love, the creation, right? So you need to think from it. So you need to now engage your imagination, because imagination is the dream process. That's what creates your reality ultimately at its first stage. So you need to set into your mind something that you would like to happen, and then think from it as if it's already happened. So it's almost like a confidence thing. That's already done. It's already complete. And here I am, and I don't know, just for argument's sake, you could be creating a certain holiday, or something like a car, a certain car you would like, and you start thinking from that. You find out as much information beforehand about that thing, that holiday or whatever, and you look at, if you were creating a holiday, you would be on the actual beach of the hotel that you want to go to, or if you were thinking about a car, you would be sat in the driver's seat, looking around, touching all the things, feeling the texture of what's around you, and thinking, oh, isn't this lovely in this car? I'm look at this, going up to a corner, and you turn around the corner and you're looking at the steering wheel of this car you want to own, and you're looking out the window and the trees are going by. You do this, and you know that this is where people who deny will never be able to get this. They will never be able to do this process. You need to know that this process works. You need to know that what you're thinking of is actually going to happen. It comes from a place of knowing, not from a place of doubt. So if you doubt that any of this is going to work, then it won't. If you think, oh, I'm going to do this, going to is not done yet, is it? And this is where we get fed words like that just take away this power. It takes away anything definite. So hope is a word we're fed all the time. Change, you know, all these things are they're meaningless words, and you know, you can't go around going, oh, I hope this happens and I hope that happens. Well, you can hope all you like. You can hope till the day you die. It's not going to make any difference. You need to know. You need to know it's going to happen. You need to think from that place, and know that you're coming from that place, and know it's going to happen. And what you'll find is that funny things will set themselves up in your life, and chances will come along to you that were really strange how they worked. But you'll know. People around you, everybody around you, they'll all say, oh, well, that would have happened anyway. You would have bumped into that person, whether you thought about that or no. Well, they can go on and think that if they like, but you know, and deep down inside, that you've done it through your creation process because it's something you've been working on. And this is why we need to take that control back, and you know, stop letting others manipulate that. You know, turn off your TV. Don't. It's evil. It's evil. Yeah, by all means, watch the odd film and things like that. You know, make sure it's things that are planting into your subconscious a world that you would like, and you know, create like that. You know, it's very. Once you do this, it's very overwhelming, and the more that you do it, the more you know it works, the easier it becomes, because you already know it works. So when you're doing it, you already know that all you've got to do is think that you know, come from a place in the heart that you know that this is already done, and you already know it works. So it becomes easier to get that knowing. That's the hard part. The hard part is disengaging this when you go to sleep, and everything that this does, and coming from this place here, knowing, and passing out that pulse. If you can make every cell in your body come to life, which is happening again as I'm speaking of it now, and I do this to a lot of other people, or they do it to themselves, but I help, then their realities and your realities will come true. You feel it. You feel every cell in your body is like it's all tingling and rumbling, and you're passing out this pulse into the outside world. And at that point, I always tell people, when people say about number manifestations and seeing 1111, I say, you know, it's a sign that you're creating your life. People don't get that, they don't understand it, but this is why I do videos like this, so people can start to see where I'm coming from. And when people, you know, when people get these synchronicities and things like that, they're very powerful. I mean, the people are very powerful, and all what they do and all what happens. You start to understand why religious texts and things like, particularly like the Bible, you start to understand why people get taken in so much by it, because it's a funny old thing, but when the Bible talks about God, it talks about the creation process inside of you, your very subconscious and unconscious mind, your heart, you know, love. God is love. God is love. The heart is what passes out the electromagnetic field that creates everything. So you suddenly start making sense of all these things. Now people who follow religious texts and they put their faith into that book, there's probably a lot of things in that book. Well, I know there's a lot of things that you look at from two different ways. You can read it and feed your power, as in it's talking about setting instructions for you inside, or you can read it and look it for a guy up on a cloud somewhere, or somebody, some all powerful being that rules over you. The best way to look at it is whenever you hear God and Jesus and all that sort of stuff, and God in any religion, is to look at that as being the power within you, your creation process, your own personal experience. And when people say, oh, you know, I asked God and I knew he would deliver, well, yeah, what you did is you believed in the Bible so much that you asked God and you knew that he would deliver, because you've started getting these little things that have been happening, as if there's some guy out there in the sky who's speaking to you and saying, hey, I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to make this happen and make that happen. And this is how you get suckered into things like that, because you you start to believe that was actually a God out there that was bringing these things to you. He's given you these gifts. He's planted that person in that queue in front of you because who struck up a conversation with you, just so happens to be holding the answers that you require. And you look at that as being, it's because I asked God. I got down on my knees, I prayed to him up in the sky before I went to bed at night. Just before I went to bed, I know, do you see how this works? Your most powerful subconscious mind is just before you go to bed, he's just kneel down on the ground, pray before they went to bed, get in bed and go to sleep. They've already planted that in. That's them who's created that. That's not somebody outside of themselves. That's them. That's those people who go into that place and worship. If they truly know that God is going to deliver for them, he will. And that's not God outside of them. That's God within them. That's their own power. But in order to try and control and guide that process, people people manipulate that text over the years and use it as a spell book. And once you start looking at it as being your own power and where you come from, you take that power back. And that's what's scaring those few people who like to control that and like to manipulate the world to go the way they want to. All the things that they want to happen, they will create through you, because you don't understand your power. So anyway, there's loads I can go on with to do with this, and I'll probably do more videos. If you've got any questions, then please, put the questions down. I'll answer anything. This all comes from personal experience, so it's easy to answer once I figure out the way that I can answer it. The answers are there. It happens. It's how to explain how that happens. I hope this video is, I know this video is going to empower a lot of people who are in the right frame of mind and body. Remember to get your body alkaline. So stop eating your GMO and your processed foods. Stop drinking your tap water straight from the tap. Use some special filters that takes out the fluoride and the chlorine and all the medication that goes around. Try and lay off your medication as much as you can. Make sure your body's topped up on its natural sea salts and iodine. Make sure that you've had a bit of bicarbonate of soda, and just all those things, that ripe bananas. These are all things from personal experience. Bring on that feeling just like that. I can bring that on just by having these things on a daily basis, and you can switch it. It's like a switch. You can go into it and out of it, and you can start creating during the day. You don't need it. Once you learn the process properly, you don't need to meditate. Almost your daily life is a meditation, and that's when you become very, very powerful, and you walk around with a smile on your face because you know that everything's going to be fine. Anybody who's mastered this knows that. So keep taking that power. Listen to this. Any questions, find me on Facebook. My name's Kai Bowman, spelled K-A-I, and Bowman spelled B-O-W-M-A-N. I don't mind adding you as a friend, even if I don't know you. This is, I'm here to gain nothing. I'm actually here to empower others, and let's get this planet back on track, because what's being played out here is not something that we're making. It's something that someone else is making because of our lack of realizing our power. So yeah, anyway, any questions, just put it on my Facebook or on YouTube, and I'll answer as soon as I can. Thank you. Bye.